Hey everyone, and we're live, and I have with me today Mikael. Is that how you say your name? Mikael?
It's it's how you like to say it. It's in English it's Michael. It's in my language Norwegian it's Mikael. But most English-speaking guys they panic right away. They see a K instead of a CH, so they call me Mikael or something. So
Mm-hmm.
it's up to you.
And did I say you from Norway? I didn't quite get there, I don't think.
Yeah.
So he's from Norway and he has excellent English. Yes. So I hear you don't actually have a religious past. So can you tell my viewers in the body of Christ more about your past and your experiences?
Yes, I could. So it really goes back to, well, I've always kind of believed there is a God, but I wasn't
Mhm,
in any sort of organized religion. I'm brought
mhm,
up by in a Christian home or
mhm,
with believing parents, and my
mhm.
father has always been a believer.
Okay.
Um, but I really didn't care much about it until I was 17. So
Mhm,
during my youth, from when I was 5 to 17 years old, I did track and field or athletics, and I was very serious about this. And this, in one way, became my God. So in one
mhm.
way, I have experience from religion, if you want to call sports a religion or a God, because that's what it became to me. I was very invested in sports. That
Yeah.
was all my attention went to sports. I dreamt of sports. I thought everything I thought about was sports and becoming, the world champion, if you want to call it that. I wanted
Yeah.
to one day reach the Olympics and so on. So I was very, very dedicated towards that.
Mhm.
And but I see my whole upbringing, my whole journey from when I was little to when I was 17. It's just a story about God slowly but surely reeling me in, because I've always been interested or haven't have had an I've always had a foundation and believing that there was a God. I just didn't uh, either prioritize it or pay much attention to it. So
Mhm.
actually, how I got into the realization, of course, I wasn't saved when I was 17 years old. I was saved 2000 years ago, of
Exactly.
course. Um, but I came into a realization when I was 17. But what started bringing me into this
Wow.
realization was when I
Mhm.
was around 14, 15, I
Mhm.
started looking into conspiracy theories and alternative stuff.
Okay.
So I kind of realized first that I came into a realization of the evil and kind of dark side of this world. I got into, researching about the so-called Illuminati and,
Yeah.
demons and worship and dark magic. So I kind of
Mhm.
realized the big contrast and the big fault of this world, and it kind of got me to realize that there has to be another side of this. I recognized the problem with the world, and that kind of when I then realized God and that the Bible is His word, that kind of told me that that's the solution to this wicked world, or as I know today, the current wicked eon.
Mhm.
So when I realized that I was saved and that I there was something more important in life than sports, that's when I quit sports. So I quit sports when I was 17 because I became a believer, and from then on, it's been some ups and downs from when I was 17 to 19. When I was 19, I went to the military, and that year I really, really growed in the realization I had a lot of time with myself and just the Bible, and I really started to get uh, both dependent and independent at the same time. I really got isolated, and I could work on my relationship with God, just me and Him. Um,
So did you ever
yeah.
step into a church at all, like throughout your life?
Yes. During my upbringing, we would go sometimes to some churches just to go there. We didn't go there regularly. We weren't part of any church. Like, we didn't sign any form of contract or something. We didn't were members of a church, but we did visit it's a free evangelical kind of church, which it's probably one of the best churches in Norway here, because they're not Pentecostal, like they're not charismatic, and they're not like into, they're the least Christians. I can say it like that. They're
Okay.
the least Christians of the Christians here in Bergen. So they're really, they don't preach much of the bad stuff that violently as some do. They don't stand and preach hell and free will like some of the others do, but they're still Christians. So we did have some experience with Christians and Christendom during my upbringing, but we were never a part of it.
Yeah, just attended sometimes, that kind of thing.
Yes, and for me, I didn't care anything about it, because my God, as I said, was sports. Or you could also say it was myself, because I relied on myself, and that was all my focus.
So what is actually the main religion or beliefs in Norway, do you know?
Can you repeat that?
Do you know what the main religion is in Norway, like most popular religion in Norway, or like what sort of beliefs they have, main beliefs they have in Norway?
Well, officially, it's still a Christian country, but that doesn't reflect the reality. It's most are atheists, and
Yeah.
even maybe humanism is one of the biggest religions here now. And I forgot to tell you, I actually went to a private Christian school when I
Yes.
was 13 to 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I've kind of been in those circles, but never
Yeah.
a part of them.
So I hear that your dad is a believer too, you just said as well,
Yes.
but I heard it as well.
Hmm.
So did he play a big part in you coming into the truth? I suppose he would have.
He played the biggest part that anyone could have played. When I was 13, I received a concordant literal New Testament from him, but I didn't touch it then until 2017. Basically, I didn't open it or didn't read in it. So he has, during my upbringing, he's played a very, very big role, always being there if I had questions. I've always been curious about the end times and the eons, even before I became a believer. So he's always like been there to guide me if I wanted to. He hasn't um, pushed it on me. He hasn't tried to force me to do this and that during my youth. So I think that's a good thing, that I really got to grow whenever I was ready for it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's been a believer for all my life. So I've always had him to
Wow.
lean on and to learn from, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So who else played a part in you coming into the truth?
So from when I was 17, when I started my walk with God, I started watching and listening to mostly the Concordant Publishing concern. They
Oh,
have a
yeah.
lot of MP3 files and good articles, of course, on their website. And I've always also been a big fan of Clyde Pilkington. So those two in the first years were my primary sources of information and learning of the truth. And later, when I was especially when I was 19, when I was in the military. I started listening to Martin Sender. I started reading Aaron Welsh. Aaron
Uh-huh.
Welsh has a blog called That Happy Expectation,
Yep.
which is really, really good. He has some great articles on his website,
Hmm.
and yeah, and now recently I really enjoy watching Wes Camp, The
Oh
Biggest
yeah, he's
Jesus,
awesome.
Scott Hicko,
Yep.
and Peter May. Those three
Uh,
are the ones I really enjoy
really.
watching today, except for, of course, I watch Martin Sanders sometimes, Clyde Pilkington sometimes, even though
Yeah.
I don't agree with any of them on everything.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to agree with them on everything to learn something from them.
So you've been a believer for like since 2017?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
at
quite a
least
while.
th-
It's longer than
at least
me.
that's the time I've been into the realization of it.
Yeah, when you came into a realization about the death, tomb, and resurrection, and like that God saved all and everything. So, like, that's what is
Yeah,
that? That's 6 years that you've been a believer for.
yeah.
So, yeah. So, did Martin Zender? I suppose Martin Zender also played a big part in you coming into the truth. Did you watch a lot of his videos, or?
Not in the start. I
Oh,
mainly watched Clyde, and I listened to the Concordant Publishing Concerns stuff. So mostly those two. But I watched Martin Sender after that, and listened to his files.
mm-hmm. And when did your dad come into the body of Christ? How long ago was it?
Well, I can't say when he became a believer because, he was a Christian when he was younger. In his
Yeah.
20s, he was a Christian. So I can't say for sure when he became a believer, but he's definitely been a believer for the whole of my life. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Okay.
and he's been s- and that's kind of the fun thing about me, that I've become kind of brought up concordantly, and not so many people have that privilege. I'm very blessed in the sense that I haven't needed to unlearn those doctrines of demons such as hell and
Mm,
free will and the Trinity, at least.
yeah.
So I feel I'm very blessed in that sense, that I don't have to, or I didn't have to go through all that.
Mm. So, how did you feel when you realized you were part of the body of Christ? Like, what were the contrasts of what you passed it to the body of being in the body of Christ? Do you think what's the differences of?
Well, I think that really made me relax because of all the evil, because of all the problems with the world. That really made me relax and rely on God.
Yeah.
That I think was the biggest difference it made back then.
Hmm. So, do
Yeah.
you know any other, apart from your dad, do you know any other people in Norway that are believers?
Yes, we have a couple of friends, friends of my dad, which has become my friends as well. We have one friend or two friends, not too many hours from us, living just south of Bergen in Norway. So we do meet them regularly. We're going to meet them in the summer, have a small kind of meetup between us brothers. So we have a handful that we know of. Of course, there are probably a few more that we don't know of. There's
Mm-hmm.
always somewhere here and there that you don't know about.
Yeah,
But yeah,
right.
apart from those, there's not much going on in the body of Christ.
Well, I think that's pretty much all my questions. Pretty quick today. If
Yeah,
you have anything else that you would like to add, I'm not sure. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story, your past, and your how you came into the body of Christ. Awesome to talk with
yeah,
you.
yeah. No, I don't have much to say really. I I enjoy these. I enjoy the interactions we can have on online,
Oh,
either
yes.
on all the live streams going on different channels, and yeah, I think
Yes.
it's good for people who don't have, I have my dad I can talk to whenever I want, but not everyone is that blessed as me to have someone that close to talk with.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
and I'd be and I did want to say this, that if there's any other young people, like I'm 23 years old, so if there's any
Yes.
other young people that would like to get in contact, I'll maybe I could post my email or something in
Yes.
the
If you can put it
description
in the
below.
private chat there, do you see the private chat? If you
Yeah,
put your email there, do you want me to post it up for you?
yeah, do that. So
Yes.
I'll type it in,
Yes. Awesome. But
because I think it's good for young people also to have fellowship.
it is. It'd be good to have somebody your age to talk to.
Yeah,
So yeah, you can see the private chat there. Yep.
see if you got it.
Let's see if I got it.
So don't be afraid, anyone, to reach out.
Okay, I'm going to post up. Okay, I'll put your name. Oops. There we go. So if anybody wants to get a hold of, I can't say your name like you said it. So
Yeah, try to say it.
I was told to say it Mikael, and I don't know if I'm saying it right like that.
It's
So
almost. You can try to say my full name.
Solheim,
Yeah, okay.
Mikael Solheim. Yeah,
It's
not quite,
not too
but
bad.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So if you want to contact him, then there his email in the chat. And yeah, thank you for coming on. And yeah,
No
love,
problem.
grace, and peace, everyone.
See you.